and welcome to this tutorial. In this first part of JavaScript tutorials, I'm going to teach you how to install VSCode on your operating system, and also I'm going to teach you how you can install some of the most useful extensions for running the JavaScript codes so that it becomes much easier to code inside of the VSCode IDE. However, if you don't install those extensions, it will still be fine and you will be able to run your codes, but it's going to be much better if you install them. So first and foremost, open up your browser and search for VSCode download, and the first link that you're given is from the Visual Studio Code or visualstudio.com, where you can download all of the versions of VSCode. So if you're running your computer on Mac, Linux, or Windows, there are different releases for all of these operating systems. So I'm on Debian 11, so I need to install .deb file, and once you install that, you will be given the file inside of your downloads folder, and then you need to run a couple of commands in order to be able to install your desired IDE. So first of all, we will download .deb file. Notice that I have already installed it, so I do not need to install. But once you do that, you will need to open up your terminal and cd to downloads. So if you're on Windows, you're going to be easily installing VS Code. As you can see, I have installed it on Debian 11. But if you're on different operating systems such as Debian, you need to search for terminal here, open up your terminal, and then you need to cd to downloads or anywhere you have downloaded the file. And so I'm gonna cd to downloads, and then you need to run sudo dpkg-i, and then you will need to write the name of the file that is the .deb file. So I think I have the VS Code already, I'm not sure, but oh no, I have just removed it from my directory. But using this command, you will be able to install, first of all, you will decompress the .deb file, and then using the sudo install f or -f, you will be able to install your own desired .deb file. Notice that you can also search it on the internet how to install .deb file, but it's there's nothing fancy about it. It's going to be very easy, and as you can see, I've installed it right over here. So I'm not going to get into more details about the installation on Linux operating systems. So let me open it up completely right over here so that you can have a better control over it. And okay, right over here on the extensions, the fourth item inside of the navbar, you will be able to find your desired extensions. So right over here, you can see a number of extensions that I've installed and a number of recommended extensions that you might need. So in some of the operating systems, you will be able to directly install from VS Code. However, in some other operating systems such as Debian, you will need to first download the VSIX file and then install it from right over here, install from VSIX file. So I'm gonna introduce some of the useful extensions for running JavaScript codes to you, and then we will switch to the syntax in JavaScript in the next part. So first of all, if you're looking for any kind of extension, for example, here I've already installed autoclose tag, but if you don't have it, if you haven't already installed it, so you can just search for autoclose tag, and then it will appear. As you can see, I've installed it, so I don't need to install it. But if you haven't installed a kind of, for example, this one, this extension, you will need to click on the install, and it will then start installing. But if it doesn't start, there will be a pop-up right over here which tells you that it couldn't install it directly, but you can do it manually. So you will click on the button download manually, and then you will be redirected to a page where you can download from your browser. And then all you need to do is to run install from VSIX, and then you will be able to install one of your downloaded VSIX files. Just as you can see, I've done it right over here for all of my extensions. So there's nothing fancy about that, but let's get into introduction of the different extensions. So let me first do that so I can close this one. Oh, there seems to be something wrong here, so I probably need to close it and open it one more time. So let's do it, and here we are. Okay, now I'm gonna head over to the extensions, and here, as you can see, I've got all the different extensions that I've needed. So the most important one that you're gonna need when running your JavaScript code is live server, and it's going to make your coding much easier. So as the name shows, it's going to show everything, every result that you save directly and online and live without having to refresh the page on your browser. So it's gonna make your coding very much easier by just right-clicking on your code and running from the live server. As you can see, the GIF for showing how to work with it is right here, so you don't need any tutorials for that. You can easily right-click on your code and on your HTML code, and then there will be something appearing, a pop-up on the bottom of your VSCode IDE, and then you will be able to run it directly. So all you can do is to open up your browser and minimize your VSCode so that you can have good control over your browser and also your VSCode, so that whenever we code, we will also be able to see the results spontaneously without actually immediately without ever needing to refresh the page. But notice that because I'm gonna do this for even the most basic operating systems and even for the kind of circumstances when you don't have live server, in this tutorial I'm not gonna cover the live server tutorial, and also I'm not gonna use it. However, some of the parts I may use it, but for most of the parts I'm gonna open up the file, the HTML file, and open it with the browser and then refresh the page. And it's not going to be just hard, but running it from the live server is going to save a lot of time for you, especially at the times that you're debugging your code or you want to try all the different scenarios and you want to just save and see the change. So that's it for the live server. We have other different useful tools for your own VS Code IDE. One of them is auto rename tag for renaming the tags, the CSS snippets. We've got ESLint, so you can see why we use them by reading the explanations under the installation. So HTML and CSS support. This is just for finding the tags or naming the tags or closing the tags. And here we have IntelliJ IDEA key bindings. This is also going to help you a lot. You have JavaScript code snippets. So these are all the tools that help you autocomplete and also be able to find the kind of code that you're looking for. OneDark Pro is going to give you that dark theme in your code. And also Prettier Code Formatter is for making your code much more colorful and beautiful. And so there are a number of other a number of other tools such as material icon theme, which is, as you can see, I've got different icons here, and the icons, let me show you and here you will be able to see the icons for each one of the files that you have. For example, if you have a HTML code, you will be able to see that HTML icon on your code, or if you have Solidity, for example, or you have JavaScript, you will be able to see JS icon, so that once you look at the list of the files of the codes, you will be able to directly and instantly notice that it's a JavaScript code or a Docker file or whatever the file that you're looking for. So that's it generally for the kind of extensions that are useful for your VS Code. You might also need to add other extensions, however, it's not necessary, but it's gonna make your codings much easier, much more beautiful, and also much easier to find the kind of syntax that you're looking for inside of your language. So here we are working with JavaScript, but if you're coding on Python, you can search for Python extension and then install it. If it can get installed directly, you can click on this, but if it doesn't, you will be able to see after a while that some pop-up appear right over here on the button, and then there is this button where you can click on it and install it manually. And I've explained to you earlier how to install it, but if you have forgotten, you can install it from right over here, install from VSIX. And notice that on VS Code, we do most of our job right over here with this navbar or nav list for seeing this vertical nav list for seeing the different lists of files, and be able to navigate through our folders, files, see them, open them. Also, we have this terminal right over here that you can open and run your codes inside of it. And also you can zoom in and zoom out. As you can see, I'm zooming in using the Control plus, and if you want to zoom out, you can use Control minus in order to zoom out. So I'm gonna zoom in for the most of the part so that you can better see the codes and better see the syntax. So as you can see, there is this pop-up here which says that there was an error installing that kind of extension that you're looking for, so you can try downloading manually. So by clicking on this, there will be your browser opening up, and then you'll see that the Python or any kind of tool that you're looking for will be installed and will be downloaded, and then you will be installed from here, extensions, and right over here, install from VSIX. So that's it for this part of the tutorial, and here we've learned how to work with VS Code, different extensions, how to install them, and how to install VS Code on different operating systems. And in the next parts, we're going to get started with the syntax and everything about JavaScript.